Everybody, this is Diesel for Imagine Your Goddess, and today I'm doing another deck profile by request. This is an odd deck profile. It's a gold Paladin build focused on Agravain. So I'm going to show you one variation of it. It's called the Agravain Ezel build, or Swaggervain as we like to call it around the house. And it starts off with Crimson Lion Criff. Obviously, if you're going to use Ezel to help you get the soul charge in, you have to use Criff in order to get the bonus quickly. We'll start with the triggers. The triggers in this deck are 4 heals, obviously, and then 4 draw. I like to get some hand size going in this deck because it lacks the pluses that most gold Paladin decks receive. But it does run 8 crit, 4 Silent Punisher, and 4 Flame of Victory. Now, Flame of Victory can be used as a 10k shield, but if you can avoid it, you'd like to keep it in your hand so that you can get that extra soul charge off to get Agravain's ability off as quickly as possible. That's it for the triggers. Let's just move straight into the grade 1s. For the grade 1s, I have one Listener of Truth Din Drain. I run her just basically as tech. I run one Garmor as tech as well, so Garmor can search Din Drain. If any other abilities happen to put a gold Paladin into play from the deck, I can get that draw off. It works okay, and it's not a terrible card. Then I have 3 Little Battler Tron. When you get Agravain off, you want Tron behind him. That extra little boost really helps just seal the deal with his ability. Then it runs 4 Gareth. Again, for the Criff ability, you need to have Gareth and you need to have Bowmane out on the field, so getting 4 Gareths in the deck gives it some consistency. We also have Blackmane Witch. Blackmane Witch is another sacrifice a rear guard to take the top card of your deck and call it to rear. Often it lets me get rid of things that aren't working as well. If I accidentally got a trigger, if I got the Din Drain off and then I want to move it, this is what I use in the place. And for the end of the grade 1s, we have 4 Halo Shield marks. Perfect shields, like I said, I like to run 4 because the format demands it. It's up to you guys whether or not you think 3 or 4 work. Personally, I like 4. Move into the grade 2s now. We have 4 copies of Bowmanes. Again, in order to get Criff off, you have to have Bowmane as your Vanguard. So, run 4, keep it consistent. Then we've got 2 copies of Nemean Lion. Nemean Lion is the 10k interceptor for gold Paladins. I like having a couple of copies of this in the deck because toward the end, when you trigger Agravain's ability, you need that extra defense to get through that one turn where your hand is really hurting. So I like to run Nemean Lion because if I can put him off to the side, get that counterblast off, then if I have to, I can pull him into the guard zone and get some 10k intercepting. Then I also run 2 Gigantech Commanders. This creature is not used very often in most gold Paladin decks. It's when it attacks, if you have more rear guards than your opponent does, it's an 11k attacker instead of a 8k attacker. Then I have 2 copies of Mage of Calamity Trip. This is the damage on flipper for gold Paladins. I like running Trip because sometimes I'll use Ezel's ability, sometimes I'll use Garmor's ability. There's a lot of counterblasting in this deck, so having those couple of trips in there helps me ensure that I can unflip damage to try to get the Mega Blast off. And if I can't, at least I can unflip damage to get off a Garmor's ability or an Ezel's ability. That's it for the grade 2s. We'll move into the grade 3s. We have the mainstay of this deck, Knight of Fury Agravain. Now, for those of you who don't know his ability, it's Mega Blast, Soul Blast 8, and Counter Blast 5. And until the end of the game, on both turns, he has a continuous effect of getting plus 1,000 for each of your gold Paladin rearguards and an additional critical. So that lasts until end of game. It's very, very useful, and if you can pull off the Mega Blast, which is what the deck is trying to focus around, you'll usually have a 14k, 15k Vanguard on your opponent's turn. And that even messes with the cross rides. Then we have 2 copies of Ezel. I run the Ezel chain because it gets you that additional card into the soul when you use Criff's ability. Also, it just starts you off on a nice fast run. You minus yourself a little bit to start getting twin drives going, and getting those twin drives going can protect you later when you're trying to actually set off Agravain. Finally, I run 1 Garmor and 1 copy of Gigantic Destroyer. I like Gigantic Destroyer as a creature just to have in the deck as something to give that little extra boost to, and Garmor is probably one of the more steady Vanguards that you can ride into in just about any Gold Paladin deck. So I run 1 as a just in case. Now this deck was more or less built just for fun. I really liked Agravain, and I thought that it would be fun to experiment with different kinds of things. We recently tried a variation of it where it uses the Duke combo. Starts off with Vortimer and gets the pluses going from the Duke chain, and then just goes into Agravain and starts building up Soul while it has extra rear guards on the side for attack and defense. Other variations that I had of this one used less Ezels and more Gigantic Destroyers. I've tried using just 4 Agravain and 4 Garmor, but often enough it just turned into a bad Garmor deck. So, try out the deck, see what you think. I would like you guys, of course, always to like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure that you let me know what you think is good about this deck, what you think needs improvement, things that you guys might do as variants of Agravain. And I'd like to hear back from you guys soon. This is Diesel from Imagine Your Goddess, signing out.